So after the Summer Games Fest, a lot of stuff has come out about Sonic X Shadow Generations, and it all looks so good, and I haven't gotten a chance to talk about it, so let's do that now. Let's go over Sonic Generations first, because everything that's a part of the Shadow Generations is so much cooler. Okay, so it's been confirmed by the website that we're getting updated visuals and reworked cinematics, which we have already seen with pictures of like Chao in the opening cutscene, which weren't there before, and Charmy, that I noticed, Charmy has a birthday hat. And on the website, it very clearly looks like a new angle for that one cutscene where Sonic and Classic Sonic fist bump. They're also adding Rescue Chao levels, and they're adding the Pinball DLC, which I never got to play. I only played it at a friend's house, so this will actually be really exciting getting to play it by myself for the first time ever. And that's pretty much it for the new additions that we know about, at least. It's also been confirmed that the Sonic Adventure Legacy skin is for modern Sonic, so maybe there'll also be other customization options too, like other skins, maybe other shoes, auras like Sonic Colors Ultimate. And some footage has been released from the Sonic Generations portion, and it looks unchanged. Like, literally nothing is different besides, like, two major things that I noticed. One, the grass is colored weird, and I didn't even notice that. I had to get that pointed out to me by someone who really pays attention to the stuff, and even then it's like a minor detail, so I'm not going to care about that. And modern Sonic and Classic Sonic's drop dash. For Classic Sonic, it looks really good, but for modern Sonic, well, just take a look at Fidel's footage. There was a fan mod released, I want to say like a year or so ago, that adds the drop dash to Sonic Generations, or at least the PC version, not consoles, but it looks like this. Literally almost the exact same, so it makes me wonder if they actually use the fan mod or if they just put in that little effort into like using the drift ball, because that would have been way better for like a drop dash. So yeah, but other than that, Sonic Generations looks great. But let's move on to the big event, Shadow Generations. So from the Shadow Generations portion of the website, it reads, in this new standalone campaign, Shadow's nemesis, Black Doom, has re-emerged and threatens to take over the world once again. Shadow must journey into his past, confront his painful memories, and unlock new dark powers to save his world. Or the world. It literally just sounds like Shadow the Hedgehog 2, and I feel like that's what we all wanted out of this campaign, even though it had Generations elements. That's really what we thought this was going to be, Shadow the Hedgehog 2 Generations. But just from that, it sounds really intriguing. Like, is it Black Doom, like, in his full, or are we only going to see Doom's eye? That's going to be really disappointing if we only see Doom's eye. I feel like they're saving that for the boss fight. The website then continues in another thing that reads, harness Shadow's new Doom powers to battle hordes of enemies and tackle platforming challenges like never before. Surf on water, fly over obstacles, and stop time with the return of Chaos Control. So not only are we getting confirmation that everything that we've seen in the trailer that refers to the Chaos powers is Chaos Control, but Doom's powers, that's like the wings, and it's apparently surfing on water. That, okay. The website that continues by saying, experience the ultimate showdown between Shadow and Black Doom in a new boss battle that will test your skills and reflexes. Use all of Shadow's abilities to defeat Black Doom and save the world. Are they advertising the final boss already? They can't be, right? Because that seems like such a weird choice to do. Like, why would they advertise the final boss if we haven't even seen one yet? I mean, we're gonna see the bio lizard later on in the video though. And here's a really interesting one. The final thing reads, stretch your legs in an all-new hub world inspired by the open zone gameplay of Sonic Frontiers. As Shadow gains new powers, he can explore further and uncover the secrets hidden throughout. What? Open zone gameplay for the white space. Wow! And taking a look at the image, I've seen people say that it looks like Soliana, which I personally couldn't agree more. And I've also been seeing people saying that the purple goo could be like Mephiles, which I really hope is true. I really hope we get a Mephiles boss fight in general. That'd be so cool. I've also gotten other pictures too, and this world just looks really expansive, and I cannot wait to see more. But that is everything from the website. Let's get into the gameplay that was happening at Summer Games Fest. Starting off with the Shadow gameplay, what's immediately noticeable is that we can barely hear him. Like, not even joking, he talks throughout the entire stage, and if you're not paying attention for it, you would barely even notice if the subtitles weren't there. Like, it is that quiet for us, but I'm sure for them with like the headphones and stuff like that, if they got headphones, they were able to hear him much better, and what we got isn't even like what it will sound like. It sounds like what a phone recording it sounds like, you know? But it still kind of worries me though, because the music and the other sound effects are noticeably more audible than Shadow's voice, so it makes me wonder how it will sound in the final game. But moving on, people have said that the homing attack looks kind of slow, and yes it does, but I've also seen other people like go faster with it than what we've seen in the gameplay, so I think it's fine. When we get the chance, let's talk about the level's aesthetics. Oh my goodness, is this the best looking Sonic game ever? Like, I'm not even joking. Like, this clears Unleashed by just a little bit, but it still clears. One thing about these stacks that I did notice though is that they've reused the planet from Sonic Frontiers like 3 times now, first in Sonic Superstars and now here. And when I say 3, I technically mean Sonic Frontiers The Final Horizon, since that was like a whole different game too. And I'm not like upset about that. It looks like a good model of the Earth. It looks really visually pleasing, but it just gets kind of odd noticing it in every single new game now. Let's also talk about the arc at the beginning of the game. Oh my goodness, is this the most visually impressive arc that we have ever seen. It looks so good and so detailed, kind of like the Death Egg from Sonic Forces, but almost like even more so, and it just looks really pretty all around. Let's get back to like talking about the actual stage now. I've seen people say that this looks like another Sonic Forces. I'm looking at you, Matt has no cuts, and I personally don't agree. I think this looks more so like Sonic Generations and Unleashed. I think Premi Duremi says it really well, where this is like the middle ground in between like Sonic Forces and like Sonic Unleashed / Generations, and I definitely agree with that sentiment. I think it looks like decent. I don't think it looks like Generations level design, because nothing can top Generations level design, at least 2010 onward. So yeah, it definitely looks more so like cyberspace than it does like Unleashed or Generations, but it definitely does not look like Sonic Forces. But once we move on from that, let's talk about this cinematic. And it's not even cinematic, it's a QTE, which is even better. We actually get to play it, of Shadow punching the missile and then kicking it back and it explodes. It looks so good. And then the seamless transition back into gameplay. Seriously, what happened between the animation between Sonic Forces and this game? It looks so good. And then we get a few looks at the inside of like Final Rush, and everything looks really good. All the pathways look really expansive, especially that one room that everyone's been talking about. But then we get to the big hallway section, which is where we see Black Doom for the first time, or at least Doom's Eye. Yeah, and Radical Highway looks really good. I especially like the part where Shadow's like sliding down the building. That looks really good, and I want more spectacle like that in this game. But otherwise, everything in the Space Colony arc, Act 1, by the way, this act is 5 minutes. So yeah, everything looks really good there. Let's move on to the Biolizard fight. I gotta say, I'm kind of like mixed on this fight, and for one reason only. It's actually it's a really petty reason, but everything mechanics-wise looks good, everything graphics-wise looks good, but I am really peeved about how they chose to design the location. Because if you guys take a look back to the original Sonic Generations with the Perfect Chaos boss fight, it looks different from Sonic Adventure, but at least it looks like an evolution on the, like, how it was supposed to look on the Dreamcast. But here, it almost doesn't look anything like the original from Sonic Adventure 2, besides, like, the centerpiece and the Master Emerald Shrine and the thing above the Master Emerald Shrine. I don't even know what that is. But everything else besides that, it just looks kind of, like, random, especially with, like, the walls, where you can see like the fog behind it, where that wasn't in the original, and like the pillars everywhere, and the water looks fine. That was there in the original. In fact, the water looks good throughout the entire game, especially Sonic Generations 2. I don't know if they did anything to it different, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like an evolution of the original game's like arena, you know, like how Perfect Chaos did in Sonic Generations. This just looks like a redesign that doesn't really, like, do anything. Like, in Sonic Generations 3DS, they barely even changed the thing, and I think that looked really good, but here, when they try to do something different, I just feel like it comes across a little like, why did you change that? Did that need to be changed? You could have updated the graphics, but, like, did it need to be fully redesigned? Otherwise, everything looks good here too. I especially like when Shadow does that little thing from Sonic 06 with the multi-attack, and the cutscenes look good, just like we've seen everywhere throughout the rest of Shadow Generations. The ranking animations also look really good too. I've seen some of those from gameplay, and I feel like they're different depending on what you collect in the stage and how you do, and like, they had that in the original generations, but they never had anything for like collectible changes. Like, if you got like all 5 red star rings, Sonic wouldn't hold them all up like Chaos Emeralds, you know? I don't know. They still look really cool, it just looks like, why would you do that though? Speaking of collectibles though, Shadow's like icon that he holds in his hand, I wonder what that's going to be for. I wonder if that's going to be like relevant to unlocking new stages in the game. Like, I don't even know, but it just looks cool. I can't believe they didn't at least let people like walk around a certain section of the white space though. That would have been really cool to see if we would have gotten access to that at the Summer Games Fest, but it's a missed opportunity. But at least we know what it looks like, at least we know it's coming, and I'm sure we'll get gameplay for it sometime down the line. Some interviews have come out with Hitachi Iizuka, especially with IGN, which they had one question that I really want to talk about. They asked if any other Sonic games are in consideration for a remaster or a remake, and a couple fans called out 2 things. One, Sonic Unleashed, which got a big crowd response, and Sonic Heroes, which also kind of got the same response, a little bit less than no. And Hitachi said they are interested in doing other games like Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Heroes, and I just can't wait for that. If it's as good as it is here, I think we're set, guys. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about all the new Sonic X Shadow Generation stuff. So if you want to subscribe, please subscribe, because we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers whenever we do that. And I do want to thank you guys for 600 subscribers. It was just so sudden. One of my shorts just popped off, and then we're here now. But thanks for that. Also, I live stream every Saturday at 11 a.m. PST and 2 p.m. EST. Please be there. It usually devolves into us like just talking, but it's still a really fun time regardless. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.